I'm here with Jason Jones, and tell us about your ministry.
Well, Father, I founded an organization called HERO, the Human Rights Education and Relief Organization, and it's our mission to promote really Catholic social teaching in a universal way, but we really look to promote the idea that the human person, the truth of the human person, that we're made in the image and likeness of God and have an incomparable worth.
Right. And what are some of the ministries you do outreaches with that organization?
Well, Movie to Movement produces and promotes films that promote human dignity. So the projects that we're probably best known for is Crescendo. Recently we released a short film. We have a new short film coming out called Sing a Little Louder. And then through I Am Whole Life, we do ministry in Sudan to Skid Row in Los Angeles.
Right.
One of our my favorite projects is the Imago Dei project, where we have backpacks that say I am made in the image of God, and we fill them with the necessities of life for the local homeless. And we do this all over the country.
And of course you speak out directly on abortion. Tell us about your work there.
Well, that's really my passion. That's what woke me up. When I was a young teenager, my high school girlfriend was pregnant, and while I was in basic training, her father forced her to have an abortion. I was a young kid. I'd never been to church a day in my life. I did not know abortion was legal, and it scandalized me. It shocked me. So as a 17-year-old soldier in the Army, I kind of committed as an atheist. I committed my life to ending abortion, and it was...
How did you see the wrongness of it as an atheist?
Well, you know, I'm now a Catholic, and when I was an atheist and people asked me, well, how can you be pro-life if you're an atheist? I'd always say, I'm against, you know, carjacking and stealing candy bars as well. Does that surprise you? And, well, why would you think that I wouldn't want to protect children from violence? Right. I wish the whole world could see abortion the way that I saw it as an uneducated 17-year-old atheist. It's an unthinkable and unspeakable crime. I couldn't comprehend it. And at the time, I thought, I didn't know abortion was legal. The world must not know. So I thought it would be a very simple thing to end abortion. I thought I just had to tell people that this was going on. I was shocked to discover that there was a culture war and that, in fact, the world was well aware of the fact that children in the womb were not protected from violence.
Did anybody tell you it was wrong, or you just knew it?
I just knew it. I didn't, you know, I found out about legal abortion from my girlfriend calling me when I was in basic training crying. When I asked my captain to call the police, he said, why would I call the police? Don't you know that abortion is legal?
Right.
And that really, I couldn't comprehend that it was legal.
Right. And so your girlfriend did wind up having the abortion? Against
her will. You know, so she called me crying, and she was crying so hard that I say her soul was crying, and she really couldn't talk. Yeah. And her father said over the other line, we know your secret and your secret's gone. I took her to get an abortion. And so she didn't choose the abortion, I didn't choose the abortion. And you know, it really hurt her deeply for many, many years. Now she's very involved in the pro-life movement as well, and we're still friends.
And you made a promise, right, to fight for life, didn't you?
Yeah, you know, we named our child Jessica. We said if it was a boy, Joshua, girl, Jessica. And the abortionist, after the procedure, said, well, if you want to know, you had a little girl. And so I committed at 17 that I was going to spend the rest of my life, if it took me the rest of my life, to end abortion. Now, 25 years later, you know, as a new Catholic, well, it's been 10 years now, but I feel like a new Catholic. It's hard for me to keep my Lent commitment, you know, but really, okay, no chocolate, okay, no chocolate when my wife and kids are looking, or whatever, I'll pray the rosary today. But by the grace of God, even all those years as an atheist in the pro-life movement, the first thing I think about when I wake up is ending abortion. The last thing I think about when I close my eyes to go to sleep is ending abortion. And for 25 years, like, it just is what moves me. And I thank God that He's given me that grace to be faithful to that commitment. And I have 7 children now, and 8 counting my daughter Jessica. And I tell my children, I hope you know that me fighting for the dignity of your sister is an expression of my love for you. And when I look at my children, I went on to become a teen parent. I had a son at 18 and a daughter at 19. And so I really got to feel what I lost, because my oldest son is just a year younger than his sister that was lost to an abortion. And so every year as I watched my son grow older and my relationship with him became deeper and more profound, I felt the loss in an even greater way.
Now you have a book coming out on the social teachings of the church. but
I do.
presented in a more...
We won't tell people that. I just plagiarized 2,000 years of the church teaching, but they won't know, right, Father?
Well, that gives us confidence, though, that you're right.
Yes, that's right. Well, I don't know any, so it's called The Race to Save Our Century. It's in bookstores now, and when it came out, it was a hot new release on Amazon.com. And Eric Metaxas said if there's one book in America to give a college student, it would be this book, and it's been reviewed, even by Huffington Post gave it a good review, which shocked me. But it looks at the history of the 20th century, at the war, the genocide, and the democide, and what were the causes of that. And part 2 is a program of advancing what I call the 5 whole life principles. They're really just the principles of Catholic social teaching as a way to preserve for our posterity, or to give to our posterity a culture of life.
Talk about the principle of solidarity.
Yeah, well, the 5 principles that we list in the book are the image of God, the human person is made in the image of God, transcendent moral order, subsidiarity, the humane economy, and solidarity. But solidarity to me was a very important principle to place in the book because of the prominence today of this, especially in the United States, of radical individualism and sort of this utilitarian hedonism. And solidarity protects us against that. It's that we use our freedom and we share the blessings and privileges that we've been given for the vulnerable. Right. And radical individualism and utilitarian hedonism really teach us to turn our back on the weak. But the principle of solidarity tells us, no, you use your strength, you use your blessings, you use your privileges, and you share those with the vulnerable and with the weak.
And I know as we talk to people in different movements, that theme of community always comes up as so important and healing, and I think our modern culture craves it so much. Do you write about that?
When we talk about subsidiarity, we talk about the importance of those intermediary organizations between the person and the state. Right. In the 20th century, when we had when we had radical individualism and totalitarian socialism, the libertarianism and the radical left and the radical right, they kind of agree that the only 2 important parts of society are the individual and the state. But what we're arguing is no, what the Catholic Church teaches us is no, there are so many different types of organizations and associations between the person and the state, intermediary organizations, for example, the family and the church. And to have a healthy society, it's important that those flourish. And the state has an interest in protecting the rights of the individual, but also protecting communities and protecting the church. Right. And if you look at the horrors of the 20th century, the democide, the genocides, the wars, they couldn't have happened without first the destruction of those institutions between the person and the state.
And just the parish community seems like it needs to be more robust today to really feed people. I think we see some of that in mega churches, small groups and things like that. We really need that in the Catholic Church, I think.
Yeah, I'm blessed. I live in Hawaii, and it's a communitarian culture. And a lot of our life revolves around our parish community, and I think you might see that in Louisiana and other places that are kind of thoroughly culturally Catholic as well. And I'm blessed to live in a place where we have that. And one of the things that we do is we have a program called the Imago Dei Project, where through our parish community we get to know our local neighbors who don't have homes, and we have these backpacks that say "I'm made in the image of God," and we fill them with the necessities of life, and we share with them. And this year, the 2nd Saturday of August in Hawaii, we're launching I Love My Neighbor Day, where we're going to have block parties and where you go to local neighborhood businesses and you write cards and letters and bring gifts to your neighbors, because it's sort of that idea of solidarity and subsidiarity and getting to know your local community. We should care more about our local high school football team than we do about the big city football team, and these things are very important, and that's how it used to be. You'd read your local paper and want to know what your neighbor's kid, how many yards he got. I'm more interested in how many yards my neighbor's son got on the football field than I am with some professional, and that's really building an authentic community.
All right, thanks for chatting with us.
All right, thank you, Father.
Thank you.